what's been going on in your life is, where are you from? Give us a quick bio, and then I want to hear how you personally have been spending your time in quarantine.
Well, I'm from Norfolk, Virginia originally,
Uh,
and I'm currently in Harlem, New York City,
we also know.
which is where I'm based. And I've been spending my time in quarantine taking care of myself a lot. I've been able to set down, as we all have been, but sat down is more of like a southern term of saying sit down.
Hmm.
Um, but having the time to actually be able to sit down and understand where I am and who I am, and making the time for myself and the space for myself has been very helpful and beneficial for me, as well as I'm sure for everybody else. You know, us as actors or performers or Broadway performers, we go from show to show to show. We're always performing and doing this and doing that, and we never really make the time to just sit and learn more about yourself,
Yeah.
because we're so used to being everybody else for everybody else, you
Hmm.
know. And the only time that you're really yourself is when you're actually when the show is over, or when you're home just relaxing, or a weekend, or on a day off. So those days off are very valuable to us, because now we're able to actually spend it with people who we care about, family, friends, dogs, you know, whoever, whatever animal we have. And so, to make that time for yourself is very important. And so that's what I've been able to do, and a little traveling here and there. So,
Good. I'm very glad to hear that. And I already knew some of that, but I wanted our viewers to hear from you as well. What's interesting is, as I'm sure you have discovered, and I know I have, is whether you were in a show or not, when the quarantine happened and when our industry was shut down,
hmm
you are forced to live with yourself and figure out who you are when you're not performing
right,
or creating, and how do you use that time to look inward, and when you don't have a job to go to,
hmm
rate yourself as an artist. I'm very interested in this question. There's been a lot of talk, as there absolutely should be, about inclusion and opportunity for black men and women and many other races in the world, but particularly in the Broadway community. It's essential. What is it about this time in quarantine that led you to found Black Broadway Men?
Whew. Um, well, this kind of goes back some years. I
Mhm.
remember being in Anything Goes, which was my first Broadway show, as you know. But I remember being in that show and being the only black man on the stage, and I didn't really think of it as a bad thing. I thought of it more of as, I'm standing on the shoulders of one of many other black men who've come before me, and I was proud to be there, and I was excited to be able to see my mother in the audience, who was like, "You better sing, baby. You better dance." You know, all of that stuff. And so, to be able to have a flashback of myself as that young man in Norfolk, Virginia, kicking my leg up and singing high in the living room to the Wiz, or to watching the Tony Awards and remembering the life, and you know, the musical, and seeing Chuck Cooper or Lillias White or performers on stage who look like me, but not really thinking to myself that as I'm on Broadway that I'm the only one in this show. I
Mhm.
didn't see it as a bad thing. I saw it as a really exciting thing, to be a part of. So that being said, over the years, as I got into other shows, I found myself being the only one. Except when I was in The Color Purple, which was the first time that I realized I was one of many. And it was actually quite refreshing. I was able to have conversations that I hadn't had before with other actors in my shows. I was able to really, you know, we could sing Good Times, or we could sing and moving on up, and people understand what you're talking about, you know, or you could feel a certain type of way, and you don't even have to really speak it. They just understand how you feel. Um, so as the years went along, I realized that I didn't really have a lot of male friends in theater,
Mhm.
unless they were in the shows with me, we were colleagues. And so a lot of times I wondered to myself, why has that not happened? And it was because I hadn't really done the work to reach out to men, to become friends and do that kind of work with many other black men. A lot of times we get to these shows and we find out they're family and we love each other because we do. And we'll see each other after, we'll have reunions and things like that. But how many of them are really, really your friends? So that being said, you start looking back on things and wondering to yourself, okay, why is it that I consistently feel this way? And am I the only one who feels this way? And little did I know that I wasn't the only one. Because it gets to the point where it's like you're free, but you believe that you're equal in some type of way, but you're not. You go into the rehearsal room and you're the only black guy, or you're the only black girl, and you're in a rehearsal, and nobody treats you differently because you're all there to do the work, which makes sense. However, when you walk out the door, you are a black person,
Yeah.
and when you walk